You are listening to the Becoming the Wealthy You podcast with Jermaine Foley. If you're a woman who makes good money in your career or business, but you're not building wealth like you want to, then you're in the right place. In this podcast, you'll learn how to stop overspending, break free from the cycle of debt, save lots of cash, and become the wealthy woman you were born to be. Let's dive in. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Okay, so today we're talking about the two most expensive financial habits that you can have and the hidden patterns behind them. Listen, and when I say expensive, I don't just mean the dollar amount in the moment, not just the $150 Target run or the $10,000 that's sitting on your credit card and the interest that you may have paid last month. I'm not talking about that because that's surface level expensive. What I'm talking about is long-term expensive, future expensive, opportunity cost expensive, and wealth delaying expensive. Because expensive isn't just about what it costs you today, it's about what it costs you over time. And the two habits that we're going to talk about today are very expensive. Why? Because they delay your ability to save, they delay your ability to invest at a higher level, they cost you compounding interest, they cost you options, and they cost you peace of mind. And the two habits that we're going to talk about today are overspending and the habit of carrying credit card debt from month to month. Now, before we dive deeper into the two habits, we have to call out what's underneath them. And that's reactive money management. And we discussed this in depth last week during episode number 164. If you didn't get a chance to listen to that episode, I highly recommend you go back and listen to it after this one. But here's a brief overview of what we covered. Reactive money management is when you handle money based on what's happening right now in front of you without regards to what's coming in the future. So here's what that looks like. You manage your money month to month. You solve for what's in front of you. You deal with money when it demands your attention. And you might hear yourself saying this often, I'll figure it out later. I'll deal with that when the time comes, for things that seem a little far off, right? And so to be more specific, you might say something like, I'll deal with Christmas closer to December. If I have to, I'll pull it from savings. Worst case scenario, I'll put it on a card and pay it off, right? Instead of sitting down and thinking about how you can mitigate having to pull from savings or needing to put it on a card, you just kind of push it off into the future and you don't deal with it in the present. Now, here's the part that I really, really want you to hear. The problem isn't just that you're waiting until the last minute. The deeper issue is this. In the months where nothing big is due, nothing big is happening, let's take a month like February, right? Christmas is over, it's far away. Maybe your summer vacation is months away and you don't really have anything going on right now. You treat your money like there's nothing due, there's nothing coming, and it feels light. And because it feels light, you might do more, you might spend more. And that's because you're not thinking about the Christmas gifts that you'll need to buy in December, the annual insurance premium that's due in 6 months, the organization that you belong to, the dues are going to be due in August, and your vacation is about 8 months away from now, and you still have a balance. So technically, you're overspending during that light month, and I'm using air quotes, because you're spending money that actually has a future assignment. You're just not acknowledging it yet. That, my friend, is what reactive money management is you living as if the future doesn't require any funding. You're using the money that you have now, you're using it up in the moment, not thinking about what's coming in the future. You're not planning ahead. You're just living in the moment. Now, in contrast, this is what proactive money management looks like. It looks like this. Yes, January feels light, or February, whatever month it is that feels kind of light for you, where you don't have any big things due. It feels like a light financial month, but you know that Christmas is coming, the vacation is coming, the dues are coming, the insurance premiums are coming, the big events are coming. So instead of pretending like they don't exist or avoiding them and saying you'll deal with it later, you decide that you're going to begin funding them now, a little bit at a time. Proactive money management is when you're not just living in the moment, but you're thinking about your entire life. You're thinking about what your entire life cost you, the things that are upcoming, the things that will be in your near future. And when you do that, you start thinking strategically, like, okay, let me do some math. Let me divide that up. And how much money should I be setting aside for Christmas every month so that when Christmas arrives, you're good? How can you get to the point where your vacation is paid for in full before you leave, and all you have to do is pack your suitcase and not think about funding it, not thinking about paying for it, not having to return home, dreading the fact that now you have to pay off the credit card that you put your vacation on? Okay. And when your insurance premiums are due or annual dues are due, you just write the check because the money is sitting there waiting to be used, right? You're not scrambling. You're not stressed. You're not draining your monthly cash flow. You're not putting your regular expenses on a credit card because you had to use the money for something else. And here's a side note, because some of you may be wondering, well, what's wrong with pulling from savings to cover things like vacations and Christmas and things like that? Now, here's where I want to break it down. This is not an episode strictly about saving money and the different types of savings, but I do want to break down the difference between an emergency fund, or what I like to call a life happens fund, and sinking funds. So an emergency fund is not for Christmas gifts. An emergency fund is not for vacations or annual dues or planned trips. That's just not what an emergency fund is for, or a life happens fund. A life happens fund is for a job loss. Maybe there's a medical issue and you can't work for several weeks. You have money in the bank to cover you. If you have true unexpected repairs, things that you couldn't even imagine happening, like one time I came home from a vacation and guess what happened? My sub pump flooded the whole basement. So that was an unexpected expense. That is what an emergency fund is for. An emergency fund is for things you genuinely could not have planned for or even dreamed of. And so I want to be crystal clear. Trips and gifts are not emergencies. They're irregular expenses. These are expenses that do not happen every month, but you do know they're going to happen. So proactive money management plans for those things in advance instead of using your emergency fund. And when you plan for them in advance, you're using something called sinking funds. A sinking fund is a proactive plan for your real life, okay? It's where you take expenses you know are coming, Christmas, vacation, things like that, and you break them into manageable monthly amounts so that you do not disturb your cash flow or your peace of mind when they arrive. They also protect you from needing to go into credit card debt or from using your emergency fund when they come up. This is what it means to be proactive instead of reactive. Okay? So I just wanted to clear that up because some of you may be like, well, what's wrong with using my savings? There's nothing wrong with using your savings that are set aside for irregular expenses if that's what you set them aside for. So really, you need more than just an emergency fund or a life happens fund. You also want your sinking funds. And so your sinking funds are the funds that you'll use to cover vacations, cover annual dues or insurance premiums when they come up. Now let's go ahead and talk about the first expensive habit, and that is overspending. And overspending is not just spending more than you make. Overspending can look like spending more than you planned to spend, spending more than you intended, spending more than what aligns with your goals and dreams, spending in a way that works against what you truly want for your life. And when you're managing money reactively, overspending is just something that you do. It is just a habit that you have. Now, when you think about overspending, it really does come in 3 different flavors. You have impulsive spending. that is the kind of spending that just happens randomly out of the blue in the moment. So that's the Target run where you were going in for shampoo and $200 later, you have a bunch of stuff that you weren't planning to buy. It could also look like scrolling Instagram and a cute dress just popping up in your feed, and before you know it, it's at your doorsteps. The next type of overspending is emotional spending. That is when you spend to escape whatever uncomfortable emotion that you may be feeling. So if you had a long day and you need to decompress, you stop by the mall. If you're bored during the weekend, you might scroll on your favorite shop. Or when you're stressed, you might indulge in retail therapy. That kind of spending, as I said, is all about escaping whatever emotions you're dealing with in the moment. And let me tell you something. We are always going to have negative emotion. It is a part of the human experience. And if spending is the way you cope with it, it's going to be very, very, very hard, my friend, very hard to build wealth with that type of habit. You have to learn how to regulate your emotions, how to process your emotions, how to soothe yourself in a different way. I'm not saying an occasional indulgence in retail therapy is going to harm anything, but if this is your go-to, if this is always how you cope, that's definitely going to prevent you from being able to build wealth the way you probably want to. The third type of overspending is just unconscious overspending. And this can happen in so many areas like groceries, eating out, kid activities, Amazon purchases, and just tons and tons of subscriptions. This is where you swipe, you move on, and then before you know it, you look up and you're like, where in the world did all my money go? So reactive money management is what's behind all three of these because you're operating in the moment and not from a plan. Now, the second expensive habit is carrying credit card debt from month to month. I call it being stuck in the credit card debt cycle. Now, here's how this works. When overspending steals your cash flow, what do? You just put stuff on the credit card. Or if you know you don't have the money for something, but you want it, so maybe you're indulging in emotional spending or impulse spending, you just whip out the credit card and put it on the credit card. Or when you have overspent to the point where your cash flow is gone, now how are you going to cover your regular expenses? And this happens a lot where people will spend, and then it's towards the end of the month or you still have a ways before your next paycheck and you got to get groceries. So what do? You put your groceries on a card. And so those types of behaviors drain your cash flow. And when you do have an irregular expense like Christmas or a vacation, it goes on a credit card because what else are you going to do? There's no money set aside. So again, the credit card becomes the solution. And when it's always your solution, when it's always the thing you fall back on, then the balance doesn't get paid off every month and it carries over. And then before you know it, you're stuck in a credit card debt cycle where your minimum payments, even throwing chunks at it, doesn't really do much. And then once the balances get too high for your own comfort, you either use a bonus or another type of windfall to pay it down, or you do what I call the credit card debt shuffle, where you just move the debt around to a 0% interest transfer credit card, or you take out a consolidation loan, or even a 401k loan. And when you do this, you may feel some relief in the moment. But here's the truth. You really didn't do anything. All you did was move the debt around. And because you didn't address what got you into debt in the first place, right? Because you're not planning ahead, you're not creating those sinking funds, you're not dealing with the overspending, what's going to happen? You're going to end up in double the debt. This is what I see with my clients more than anything, is that they come to me after they've tried all of what I'm saying to you, right? They've used the transfers, the consolidation loans, and now they're in double the debt and they're just like, I need help. I thought I was fixing the problem, but I'm not. There's something deeper than just the math. There's something deeper than just the numbers. I need to change my mindset around money. I need to change my mindset around spending. I need to change my mindset around debt. And money in general and wealth building in general. And mindset just means a collection of thoughts. And when you change your mindset, when you change the way you think about these things, then your actions will follow, and then you'll clean all of this up. And so if you can relate, if you see yourself in this, where you're overspending, emotional spending, impulse spending, you're wondering where all your money goes, you're not planning for the things that you know are coming. And so when they come, you're stressed and scrambling, and you end up putting it on a card or pulling it from savings. If you have it, a lot of us, we don't have savings to pull from. So that's why we keep going deeper and deeper and deeper into credit card debt. And then it gets so out of hand, we feel the pressure and we move it around and we feel a little bit of relief. And then we get back into our old habits, and now we're in double the debt and sometimes triple the debt because you've paid off that same balance over and over again. Maybe you've paid it off with a bonus, or maybe you've moved it around, and here it is again. Here it is again. You're just like, how am I still here? I make all this money and I'm still here. If that is you, I want you to know there's nothing wrong with you. So many women are dealing with this. And these are women who are making six figures, multiple six figures in their career or business. I was one of them. I was her. This is why I can talk about it so naturally, because I know exactly what it's like. And it is my mission to help anyone who wants help with this. So if that is you, all you have to do is book a free consultation with me. You can go to jermainefoley.com/consult, and we will look at what's going on underneath the surface, because the math is just the math. But if we were really doing math, we wouldn't be here. It is so much deeper than the numbers. It is the habits. It is the mindset. It is the behaviors. And until we get to those root causes, this problem is going to keep rearing its ugly head. It's like a weed. Yeah, you can chop off the stem, right? If you're thinking of dandelions, you can chop it off. You can, cut your grass, and then it looks pretty for a day or two, and then they're right back. Why? Because you didn't get to the root of the problem. You didn't get deep underneath the surface and clean out the root. And that is what I want to help you to do. I want to help you to change your life, because you work too hard and you deserve to live a life that is filled with peace of mind around finances. And if you want help, I'm here to help you. It's my mission, because I know what it's like to make so much money, right? You're looking at your W-2s. This is tax season. And you're like, I made what? Where is it? I don't even know where it is. And if you're getting a tax refund, you're like, well, I'm going to clean it up. Again, that's a windfall, but you're not dealing with what caused it in the first place. And so this time next year, you'll probably be in the same situation. I have clients who get yearly bonuses, and they clean up the mess and they clean up their finances with that yearly bonus. And then the next year comes and it's like, dang, we're doing it again. We can't just use this bonus to go on a nice vacation or to invest or to get ahead. We have to use our bonuses to clean up our past money behaviors. And I don't want that for you anymore. So you're invited again to go to jermainefoley.com/consult to book a consultation. We'll look at where you are, where you want to go, and how I can help you to change your financial life for good. All right. I hope you have a wonderful week. I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey, if money is the one area of life you just can't seem to figure out, even though you make good money, you're not alone. That's why you're invited to book a complimentary one-to-one money consultation with me, so that we can figure out how to solve your biggest money challenges. To sign up, simply go to jermainefoley.com/consult or check out the show notes. Hope to meet you soon.